So today on Building Brupeg, we need to sort out the plumbing in the bathroom. So we're going to be running hard PVC piping for all of the drains for the shower and the dry room, and that's going to be run down into the seacock. Now there's a lot of misconceptions about running hard PVC pipes in boats. I'd like to show that almost all of those fears are not founded in reality. We've used this hard PVC piping technique for many years over a number of boats now, and the most reliable part of the plumbing system has almost always been the piping. So let's get into it. So in the bathroom here, we've got what we call a slot drain. So if you have a look down here, you can see instead of having a central point that all of the water runs down to, I'll just take these out. You can see we've got two, it's about 1.5 inches deep and about 1.25 inches wide. It's a slot, so all of the water is directed over into this here area. Once it's down there, it'll run down these two stainless pipes that are welded in, and our plumbing connects to those. When we're finished with Brupeg, this won't be visible. We'll have a nice stainless grate over there, so it'll all look flush and look lovely. But that's essentially how we've created our drains in the bathroom area. So that's how our drainage system works in the bathroom. Let me show you what the pipework looks like underneath these two drains. So we're building the S-bends. So our piping is 25mm pressure pipe, or 1-inch pressure pipe, PVC pressure pipe, and underneath where it comes, each drain comes down, I've got to do an S-bend, or else you'll get all the smell of a disgusting drain going into your shower all the time. So the S-bend is just to stop the smell. I'm not sure if you can buy 25mm S-bends, but it doesn't really matter, I'm building them. So I build them out of the 90s. I just stack a few 90s together. What are we doing? It goes like that. And then, now. There we go, S-bend. It's really simple. Alright, so this is the drain on our dry room. So this probably won't get a lot of water in it. And let me think about this. This probably won't get a lot of water in it. So I don't know if I'll do an S-bend in this one. I think I'll just do a straight run all the way down to the other one, which will have an S-bend. So there's three drain holes that we're linking up. Shut up! Upstairs. There's 3 drain holes that I'll link up. Those 2 will have an S-bend. This one, I don't think I'll put an S-bend in. And if I have problems, I'll just cut the pipe and do it later. So that's my plan. So this is the little plastic fitting. Take that off, I'll show you what I'm doing. So in the deck, I've got a stainless fitting welded in. You can see this piece of stainless in here. And then this piece of plastic has a thread on one end, and on the other end it actually fits in the pipe. And yeah, we can join it. So we use hard PVC pipe for all of our plumbing. We've used it in all of our boats for years, and it's the most reliable part of our plumbing is the plastic pipe. It's the crap on all the other ends, so toilets and sinks and all that sort of stuff, they're the bits that fail. The plastic pipe never fails. We've been in yachts, we've been in where it twists up, it does all sorts of stuff. This pipe's amazing.
So where are we going, Damien?
So we are doing a run to Bunnings to get some plumbing parts so that we can finish off our shower drains. I feel like I go to this shop every 3 days. The trouble is, it's like 35 minutes away from where the boat is, and so then, you know, it's 35 minutes in, it takes you 20 minutes or something to go and get the stuff, whatever it is, and then 35 minutes back. So you lose an hour and a half every time you have to go and get it. So I absolutely loathe going in because I know it's just an hour and a half that I'll never get back working on the boat. So I get so frustrated when I go in there and I come back and I've forgotten like one bit. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. I chose to build a boat. So we made quite a bit of progress on the pipe work so far. We've been into town twice so far. The first time we thought we got everything and then realised we didn't. So we went back in the second time around to get some additional parts, and I left them sitting in the ute. And now Jess and Rebecca have shot off into town to go and look at material samples and so on for the roof lining, and all my parts are sitting in the back of the ute. So we are back to being able to do bugger all on this plumbing because all of the parts that I bought in town are now back in town. So they're going for a nice ride. So anyway, I'll show you what we've got up to so far. So currently we're in the initial stages of lining everything up, cutting it, measuring it, that sort of thing. We're in what we call the soft fitting stage. So nothing's joined together with glue, there's nothing that's been welded together. Sorry, when I say welded together, I mean plastic welded, not like metal welded. So when this is all essentially glued together, it's normally termed as welding. So in the soft fit up stage, you've got a lot of joiners sort of connecting corners and things like that, and you use these little connector pieces. So it's just a piece of this 25mm pipe, and we just cut it to be a bit over an inch, so 4 centimetres long. So what's that, like an inch and a half, something like that. We slide it sort of halfway into a piece like that, and then that piece there connects. So within these two, that joiner is about that long, if that makes sense. So in the soft fit up stage, you can see we basically assemble it all. It'll be sitting as it's going to be sitting when we're finished, and we always try and get a downward flow happening. So gravity is always going to try and take the water and so on away. What we've got here, these are our two soft points. So these are screw together fittings. We can actually separate all of this pipe work from the components that are welded to the hull. So if we ever need to modify this pipe work, nothing's in here permanently, we can always unscrew it. So it's really important when you do this type of pipe work in your boat to have soft fittings like this, because once it's in, you'll never get it out if you don't have these. In our case, we've got 3 drains happening. So these 2 here are from the shower. This one over the far corner here is from the dry room. They all connect. You must have S-bends. If you don't have an S-bend, you're going to get smells and so on coming back up the pipe, and you'll always have a smelly drain. In our case, we made our own S-bends just because we're using 25mm pipe. If you're using 40mm pipe, you can buy S-bends off the shelf. On the long download run here, I've put in a joiner because I want to add in a fitting for the toilet. So the macerator toilet is going to have 2 options, one to holding tank and one to seacock. So with this fitting here, will get stuck in there like that and come up here to the toilet. So it's joining into the same line that the shower drain is joining into. However, we won't get any smell coming from the toilet because we've got our S-bends. So it's really important that these remain in the system. And finally, the last piece of the puzzle is the connection to the seacock. So we have a threaded fitting that goes into the seacock, and then that fitting is welded to this soft point. So this soft point here is, again, if I ever need to take the system apart, I can unscrew everything and then that'll come apart. So our pipe work will be connected to this piece and up to here, but it allows me to be able to disassemble it from the seacocks and just proceed as per normal. Now, some people say you need rubber connections going into your seacocks to give movement and flexibility. You do not need that. We've used this system for years on boats. We've been through 50 knot blows, 60 knot wind, I think a separate 60 knot storm. This was in a little yacht, so a lot of twisting happened. And the most reliable piece of the system was always the pipe work. If anything's going to fail, it's going to be, it'll be macerator pumps, it'll be deck fittings, toilets. It's all of the things at the ends of the pipes, holding tanks particularly. It's the things at the ends of the pipes as opposed to the pipes themselves. This pipe work is incredibly rigid, but at the same time it's very strong. It can take a lot of vibration and a lot of flexing. with standard rubber pipe, so the like the toilet pipe, the smell impregnable toilet pipe, you start getting a lot of I think it's urine crystallization and so on in the pipes, and after a while they get quite stiff. You have to start bending them and breaking all of the urine crystallization in there. That's a pain to have to do all the time. The flip side is they also start smelling, so after a while those pipes will start smelling. And even when they're brand new, you put them in and you've got that rubber smell. It's kind of a gross smell that fills up the smell of the boat. This here is completely inert. There's no smell to this whatsoever. So yeah, we always use this piping system because it works really well for us. So Ryan's down stripping our spare toilet. So what happened?
The shit job.
So this is where it's split previously, all the way around that rim. So it's basically a brand new toilet that's just got a buggered ceramic bowl. So we're going to strip all the parts out of it and keep those as spare because we got a replacement toilet and they didn't ask for this one back. So we have a whole bunch of spares basically for our current toilet. So yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Do you ever get the shits with what you're doing and you want to take your frustrations out on something? Check this out.
If you're looking for a great read on converting your diesel to veggie oil, this is a fantastic book. So if you ever got a spot that you need got a bit of time to yourself, just want to have a read, excellent book for it. So we're getting ready to start welding this pipe work, and you can see I've started putting little black marks on all the joins. So I mark them with alphabet letters, and I just make sure everything lines up, so when I glue it together I know that everything's going to fit, because we've dry fitted everything. We know that it's all going to work if we can get it to be permanently fastened in this fixture. So every join gets a set of letters, even if it seems redundant, and that way we know that it's going to be spot on. So this green welding goop that I'm putting on stinks like you wouldn't believe, so I'd say probably either wear a mask or do this like I'm doing outside and downwind from it, so upwind from it. So that's all you have to do. They push together like that. That was super tight, but with the green stuff, it's really lubricated, and you'll end up with a few bits oozing in like that. That's really okay. It's not the end of the world. When I weld these together, this is all I do. So on the female side of the fitting, so you got your male and female side. The male pushes into the female fitting, if that makes sense, just like adult times. So I only put it on one side, and the reason I do that, see it goes in there really, really smooth and lovely. The reason I only put it on one side is because then you don't get a big bulbous amount of green goop here. It all kind of ends up inside like that, and it seals really well anyway. I've never had a problem with it leaking or anything, so long as you put enough on in the first place, and it will run down. So there's a little bit of a dry patch in that corner there. If I set that fitting like that, it'll definitely run down and fill that up. So in about 5 minutes this will be locked pretty hard, and in 24 hours it's got full strength. So now, before I was mentioning about how I give an alphabetic link to all of the different joins, it's so that when it's out on a bench like this, I can assemble it knowing that I've got it in the right location. So same deal, put some green goop into the female side of the connection, like that. And then these have got to line up, so nice twisty, so I've got no dry spots in the green goop. There, done. So that should be perfect when we assemble it. So these are all the components glued together. We haven't fully glued everything, and there's a very good reason for that, is because there's always going to be fine adjustments that are needed and so on when you start putting these together. So we glue about 70% of it together. So in this case, this is all glued together, but we've got these two pieces left off just in case. The reason we've done that, so when we start assembling it, there's some key areas that we've left as joints to be done in the room here. So I'm just starting to fit up all of the joints and everything up on the roof here now. So we'll chuck the camera back in the corner so you can get the full view and you can see us assemble all of these pipings. I'll show you how I like to do the corners, just so it's all consistent. Yeah. I'll just do one, I'll show you what I mean. Yeah. So plenty of stuff on the brush, yeah, and go around painting upwards. Yeah, and you're actually pulling out so that it stays in there. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then I just spin around like that, get the excess off. Yeah. And that way I've got a real consistent bead all the way around. Yeah. You see it all the way around there. Cool. Yeah. So that's our pipe work in the freezer room completed, so that all of the drains in the bathroom now work. You can see we've got quite a few joins and so on. So we've added a kink into the pipe here for two reasons. One, it gives us a little bit more flexibility in the whole system for when the boat does twist and so on. It also means that we've got a couple of soft points in the pipe work, so that if we ever need to add a T-piece to put another pipe in, we've already got a space pre-built for that. The last thing left to do for us is put the toilet into a Y valve so that we can direct it to either a holding tank or to the seacock here. But other than that, that's ready to go. We can have a shower in Brupeg now and the water will drain away.